I wanted to give you an overview of what we deem the lead gen machine, what our challenges were, and how we use Sugar CRM and Pardot every day to keep that going. So the first thing I want to talk about are, when we talk about lead generation, there are really two main challenges that we deal with. The first one is creating and pursuing these leads, so really just getting people to come into the marketing funnel. And yes, I said funnel, so if anybody's playing bingo. And the second one is nurturing and closing these leads. So obviously you want the leads to turn into customers and close. And what I'm going to talk about is at each step here, what we identified as steps to moving these leads forward and what we did in order to measure and improve each time. So our main challenges were when we were shopping for our marketing automation software, where we have a open source version of our product, which is the community edition. So we have a lot of inbound traffic coming in. We also have a lot of content on our website, a lot of white papers and videos, instructional videos, demos, and these are segmented as campaigns from our point of view. So we also had a lot of campaigns. So our sales reps are seeing all this traffic, but we're having a hard time prioritizing these leads that are coming into Sugar. Another issue is, okay, great, we have a great amount of inbound traffic, a great amount of leads, but because there are so many, a lot of these are not giving us the correct information, or they're coming again and again, and we're having a lot of duplicates. So these are the main challenges that prompted us to search for additional solutions. Why we went with Pardot? We had a pretty good idea of what kind of features we needed when we were looking for a marketing automation tool to complement our CRM system. So what Pardot offered gave us, a lot of the things that the CEO had just talked about: email, segmentation, drip campaigns, things like that. So we kind of knew what we needed. Customer service, Pardot offered excellent customer service from the beginning, from demoing the product to helping us with the integration to giving us information on what's new in marketing automation, what are the best practices in scoring a lead, etc. Pricing, always important: simple, transparent, affordable. We wanted a SaaS-based solution, and we wanted a solution where they had customers with good references that already had a Sugar integration, so that although our own integration was not out of the box, but having customers that are using Sugar with Pardot successfully was definitely a big plus. And all of the above really just aligns our company cultures. We have very similar views on what a product should offer, what kind of customer service, and it was just great, a great mesh. So let's go back to the challenges of creating leads. So when we think about creating leads in marketing, typically we think about the different marketing programs that we're spending our money on and hoping to track these programs correctly and turn these leads into customer, whether it's advertising, direct mail, call center, all the old school stuff. So we decided to take a step back and think about our customers as well. So instead, we really focused on what the customer is thinking about. And what the customer is thinking about is not a product that they're shopping for. They're really thinking about solving a problem. So what are the day-to-day business issues that a customer faces? How do they search for that? And where do they go and look for information? So obviously, everybody goes to Google. How do they search for, in our case, CRM? They might not know that they're looking for a CRM. They might look for automating sales, or processing sales, customer service, etc. So we thought a lot about how the customers look, what kind of problems they're facing. They're also looking on Twitter. They're listening in to what the new trends are, what people are saying about the problems that they're facing. They're looking to hear other people facing similar issues. They're reading blogs. They're doing their research. What kind of blogs are being repeated, whether on Dig or Facebook or any other kind of social media. And of course, we also added some of our content that are on our website on YouTube as well, because people search YouTube for solutions as well. They look for how-to videos and things like that. So we took all this information that's coming in through the internet and used that as also the top of our funnel. So we also want to track this information from the beginning, where the leads are coming from, and use that to prioritize them and move them along. So what I want to talk about next is, these are the steps that we focused on implementing and really improving throughout the process. So we We didn't really need to increase the website visitors. We need to increase maybe the quality of the website visitors, but this is a problem that everybody's always facing. You want to make sure there are new ones coming in all the time. Once these visitors come to the site, we really wanted to make sure they give us their information. Okay, if they're here, they're looking around, that's great, but we want to know who they are so we can contact them and sell to them. And then once we get their information, obviously, we want to know who we should contact first, what kind of response should we have to them. And as we're selling to them, we hope to shorten the sales cycle. So, we wanted to extend the marketing effort all the way into sales and help the sales reps close faster. So when I talk about increasing website visitors, I already went over inbound marketing, getting all the information from the web, getting found on the internet, etc. Putting content, just like Pardot had mentioned, you really want to have excellent content, and Pardot will help you segment that content and respond to people based on it. If you have educational content, basically you want to give people value so they're more likely to give you their information in order to look at it. We also track our Google ranking. When people search for terms that find Sugar CRM, we try to work on the content of our site to make the ranking go up higher. How do we measure this step? So of course, it's not enough to try and make it better. We need to know if we're actually making it better. We use Google Analytics to track our new visitors, our returning visitors, track which pages on our site people are staying on, what's the behavior like, and we use that behavior to understand what the most popular visits are and where people are bouncing off. So the next step is converting these visitors into leads. So great, we're getting more visitors. We want these people to give us their information. We use, obviously, forms that people put their information through, but also we worked on changing the value of the content and positioning it in a way that it's giving them more than they're giving us. So it's giving them either a free trial, so they're really getting to see the product, okay, they're willing to give us their information, or they're downloading the community edition, so they're really getting to see how it works, or they're learning about the industry in general, so they're learning what CRM is, what it can do for you, so they're getting an educational value. So let's take a look at the forms here. On the top, you'll see an example of a web-to-lead form in Sugar. So we used to create these forms. Basically, you drag and drop what kind of information you want to track, and it shows up there. We also use the forms in Pardot, and we use form handlers. Deepali will go into more detail why we went with that, but you have a lot of options depending on how you run your business. Pardot also allows us to create our own custom fields, so it works with what we're tracking. A note here is we thought a lot about the best way to present forms. You don't want to ask people for too much information at once because they won't give it to you, or they'll give you fake information. But you want enough information that you would be able to route to your sales reps correctly. A really good solution for that is progressive profiling, which Pardot offers. So one way you can kind of lure people to give you all the information is you start out by just asking for the email and name, and then the next step, the next time they come and download another asset, you ask for the company name or the location, all the information you need to route to sales. So you're slowly getting the profile, maybe not at once, but at least the data is more correct. And how we measure this step? Well, we see how our prospects are doing in Pardot. So at this step, we're moving along. We're seeing how many new visitors versus prospects we're getting, so we can see the quality of the information that we're offering on our site, measure how well it's doing, and of these prospects, how many people are becoming selling opportunities. So the next step is great. We have prospects, we have great information, we have good data integrity. Now we need to send it to sales. And this is a big one because it's always this eternal struggle between sales and marketing. Sales says you're not giving us enough leads or good leads, and we think we're doing it. So this is where Pardot helped us a lot. We used these things above, and I'm going to go over them one by one. We use sales intelligence that Sugar provides, as well as what Pardot provides together to gather more information, so the sales rep isn't going on the internet and trying to find information on their own. And we prioritize based on campaign. So we use the scoring in order to help the sales rep decide which prospect that they should respond to better. So I'm going to go over these right now, actually. Sales intelligence, things like LinkedIn. LinkedIn connector shows up in Pardot and in Sugar right now as well, so the sales rep can just hover over and see if they know these people, if they know anyone in common, start conversation. Also, Sugar provides some connectors, some cloud connectors, so we can find information through Hoovers or Jigsaw or some other software as well, so people basically can smart copy this information right in. So this is just a way to prioritize. You get more information, you can know more about this prospect. In addition, scoring. So scoring is something that helped us a lot with the prioritization. The way we implemented our integration is we don't send the prospect from Pardot into Sugar CRM until we deem them ready. And that means they have a specific score. We go with a score of 50. And they have all the required fields. So if these things are available, then the lead goes into Sugar CRM. If not, then they stay here. So sales reps are not going after leads that aren't ready yet. Of course, prospect activities, I love this, and we show this in Sugar as well. So when a sales rep's talking to a prospect, you can see what they looked at. Did they look at pricing? Did they look at sales specifically? Did they look at that kind of product? And the conversation can be much more concentrated on the kind of information that the prospect was searching for on your site. So not only do you have history, but you have real time what's going on between the conversation. Scoring in Pardot. So I use scoring not only for sales, but I also use it to market to people who have a low score. You know, we want to send them more information, we want to get them excited, get them into the sales funnel already. So, you know, you can use marketing automation rules, drip programs in Pardot in order to encourage your visitors or your leads to create more activities and progress their profile. Prioritize and route based on campaigns. So also in Sugar, we implemented some rules that if a campaign is the most, we deemed 2 or 3 of our campaigns the top performing campaigns. So if a lead comes through these campaigns, we make them a high priority opportunity. We mark them in a different way. We display them in a different way so that the sales rep knows I need to respond to this within 60 minutes. If he doesn't, then it gets round robin. Or I need to respond to this within 24 hours. So this is all the intelligence that we gathered in the marketing about campaigns and what works better. You know, we move into sales and we try to really make the most of it. And how we measure this step is with reports in Sugar. So Sugar has a lot of out-of-the-box reports, and we also create our own complicated reports, of course, to really measure exactly everything we want to know. So if we want to know what opportunities closed from this specific campaign and how fast they did that, et cetera, we do that here. So the last step was shortening the sales cycle. So we really wanted to, and this is what I alluded to already earlier. So after all the marketing work is done and after all the scoring is done and everything is already in Sugar, we make sure the sales are more informed, so they see the integration with Pardot, they see all that little history that I showed you earlier, and they know how to respond faster to which ones based on the rules that we implemented in Sugar Internal. So what we're doing is we're always tuning this, obviously. We're not done. We're always improving it. At each step, we measure what's going on, and then, you know, we go back and make some changes and then measure how well it's doing at the next step, go back and make more changes. Another great use we got out of Pardot is nurturing leads. So whether leads haven't seen a sales rep yet or they were deemed not ready, we put them in different kinds of drip programs. And the drip logic allows me to, based on their behavior and based on which emails they opened, you know, a lot of you are probably familiar with that already, assign them to a specific user or send them an email or send them to a completely different campaign. So this is very helpful, so no lead is really, you know, we're recycling and reusing as much as possible. So I'm going to wrap it together and talk about what we view as the lead gen machine here. The way we get leads into our system is either they find us online through one of these venues we talked about, they Google us, they hear about us, you know, in the blogosphere, et cetera, and they fill a form. or we go ahead and we have a lot of marketing events and we do co-events with our partners, etc. And I will manually import these prospects into Pardot and get the information in. So at this point, everything goes in through Pardot first. Next, we do some pre-sales nurture programs that we track in Pardot and hope increase the score. So we're constantly qualifying the prospect, making sure it has the information that we deemed required, and checking the score. If that is not the case, if the lead is still not ready, then we keep nurturing in the pre-sales nurture program. If it is, then the prospect is routed to Sugar sales reps in Sugar. So basically it gets sent to internal, and then all the rules that we have implemented in Sugar internal start working. If the sale is closed, great. We can also use Pardot still, even though the sale is closed, for new customer programs. So onboarding, things like upselling, soft upselling programs, education, how to use the product that they bought, et cetera. And happy customers, returning customers are the best kind. If the sale is not closed, they're not ready, or depending on what kind of reason the sales rep put in, we put them in a remarketing type of nurture program. I'm going to call Deepali back on, and she's going to tell us what's happening behind the scenes here. So probably will answer some of your questions too. So go ahead, Deepali.
Thank you, Reem.
Thanks.
All right. So Reem gave us a good overview of how some of the processes that we put in place, and I'm going to go over how we actually did that. Basically, when we were looking at integrating with Pardot, Pardot offered us a couple options to integrate. One was using the Sugar CRM Pardot connector. It's basically a module loadable package that you can install into Sugar CRM. And basically, once you load it, the magic happens. It creates all these fields in your leads module, like score of the prospect, grade, etc. And additionally, it adds an iframe field to your connector or to your leads module that automatically and dynamically pulls all the user activities right within your lead record in your CRM system. Pretty easy and straightforward. It was one of the easier options to go with. And the other one is the custom integration using Pardot's Web Services API. Now, at first we were looking at the Sugar CRM Pardot connector, but eventually we went with using Pardot's Web Services API. And here's basically why. We wanted extended functionality and flexibility in our integration points. It was like one of the reasons that we went with with extended functionality and flexibility. We wanted Pardot to give us more information. We wanted to sync the data over. We wanted more control over our data sync process, that is, define what data to sync and when to sync the data. We also wanted to take advantage of Sugar CRM's business intelligence module called Sugar Reporting to track sales and marketing trends in real time. We wanted to track all the visitor activities right within Sugar. So the APIs helped us do that. The other thing was greater visibility in Pardot. We have such great information in our CRM application in Sugar that we wanted to take back into Pardot to help the marketing team do marketing campaigns based on that information. One example can be what sales stages an opportunity in, or what sales stages that lead in. And that helps marketing follow up with different campaigns based on that information. Pardot's open APIs basically help both systems. They're seamless. They help both systems talk to each other really easily. And last but not the least, they offer great technical support. They're very responsive and quick to address all our issues and concerns. The next, I'm briefly going to go over how our lead flow process works behind the scenes. So when a user visits our website, they fill out a web-to-lead form. Now, this information is captured in Pardot using their form handlers. The reason why we went with using form handlers is basically it allows us to submit the data into Pardot. We wanted to host the forms on our servers or our CRM system. The other thing was we wanted to also maintain the same look and feel with the rest of the website. So this was a better option for us to go with the form handlers. And it's really easy to use too. So, so once this information is in Pardot, now how does it flow into Sugar CRM? So using the APIs, we created 3 time-based scheduled jobs in order to do inserts, updates, and syncing the activities. I'm going to go over each one of them briefly. So for a new prospect, it basically, once a new prospect is created, it is transferred into Sugar after it reaches a certain threshold. So that was one of our requirements. So that certain threshold could be a score of, say, 100, or a user has responded to a certain campaign like free trials, or he has searched for a term like pricing. So we know that this buyer or this lead has intentions to buy, and that's when we want to send this lead over to our sales reps. So that was one advantage that we achieved with using the API to define when to sync the data. The other is for prospect updates. Say a user provides us a new phone number or a new location. You want that information in your CRM system in Sugar in order to have the right information. So that you can also do with the APIs. It syncs to the lead records, which then you can roll up to your related records like contacts, accounts, and opportunities. And this we achieved by using the APIs, and also it syncs the data, and you can define what fields you want to sync and all that good stuff. The other thing was new activities. Say a user comes to our website, fills out a new form or a response to a certain campaign or an email or things like that. You want to capture that so the sales reps can see that information. And we did that by transferring it as a touch point within Sugar. Now this was all the syncing from Pardot into Sugar. We also have the ability to now transfer the information from Sugar into Pardot. We did this using Sugar CRM's business logic hooks. Business logic hooks are basically custom triggered events. And again, they're really easy to write. So one of the examples that we used this in is to update the opportunity sales stage. So once a lead comes into our system, it goes through the conversion process. An opportunity is created. So once this opportunity is going through different sales stages, this information is then transferred into Pardot based on what sales stage they're on. So for example, a sales stage moves from being just an interested prospect to being say, they're signing a contract or something like that. That information is now in Pardot, and that helps marketing to then say, okay, this is close to being a customer, and they follow up with those specific campaigns. We also have bidirectional sync. So for example, email opt-outs. Whether we send out an email blast from Pardot or from Sugar, we have that information, and it syncs cleanly. All in all, Pardot's open APIs gives us the flexibility, the ability to tweak our business processes easily and quickly.